One subject that's always intrigued me and interested me and inspired me is the idea of death and what death is about and the finality and the conclusion of it all. And I've experienced a lot of death throughout my life, death of loved ones, death of my pets. But looking at the history of death and what it truly means, I don't think anyone's ever really covered that mystery. Because in honest truth, is death truly the end? Sure, it's the end of this existence as we know it, but I believe it's a new beginning, the meaning and a new chapter of a new start of the rest of your life in the afterlife, so to speak. I think what happens is, when we die, or when we cease to exist in this earthly form, we go on either into another dimension. I don't know what you guys believe in, if you guys believe in heaven or hell or a higher power. I don't necessarily believe in heaven. What I think is heaven is a state of mind. And whatever you believe in your mind right now to be heaven is what heaven will be. There is no white picket fence, angels gloating and trotting around with their wings. I don't believe in all that bullshit. I just think that's fairy tale. However, I do believe that after we do pass, we go into this next realm, I believe there are dead people all around us on this earth, but the problem is we cannot see them because of our human form. We have not crossed that realm yet to delve deeper. There are a select few of people who I know who have claimed they've seen visions of dead people, or ghosts rather, and for them they call it a gift, even though others call it a curse. But they might be labeled as schizophrenic because they see stuff that other people don't see. And that may not be true at all. For example, my uncle that I was really close with, he passed away in November. And a day before he passed away, he called me asking me if I believed in ghosts. He said 2 people knocked at his door and they were asking for help. And he said he went back to go help them, to go back to his door, and they disappeared. And he says that he wasn't dreaming, that he actually saw this. And he said it looked like they were hurt and that they needed help. But he opened the door, they were there for a second, and then we turned around, they were gone. And he was asking for an explanation, and I kind of shrugged it off. I didn't think too much of it. But I get a phone call from my aunt like a day and a half later saying that he died. And I freaked the fuck out because I was close with that uncle of mine, and I miss him a lot. My Uncle Mickey. We used to talk on the phone every weekend, every Sunday, and now I don't have nobody to talk to. And it really hurts my feelings. I mean, I should have spent more time with him. But I've heard similar stories from people that, before they've passed, of seeing strange occurrences and strange things. I mean, it was the last time I got to talk to him on the phone. I didn't think it'd be the last time, but then when that happened, I was baffled by it. I'm still shocked by it to this day. Yeah, with that said, also, several years before that, my best friend, one of my bestest friends, passed away of kidney failure and diabetes. He was only 37, and we had spoken, we had such a deep talk, like 3 days before he passed, about what he wanted to do for the future and what his plans were before he'd pass away, before he'd find a donor, because if he didn't find a donor, he was going to pass away, and he knew that. But I thought he had several more years left, because he had just started dialysis a couple years before. And he just died all of a sudden after we had that long talk, and I just could not believe it. I didn't know it would be the last time I would see him. You never know when that last time is, but if you notice something big and you're somewhere and you notice that something big is happening and the moment is real, it's a very heavy moment, and you're doing something really special, and it's something you know you're not going to forget, you should always think in the back of your mind that could be the last time you might see that person. I mean, I've lost so many friends, so many people in my life. It's not even funny. And so many pets that I've had over the years. I think about all my dead pets on a daily basis that I've had from the time I was a kid. And even though they're not here in a physical form, I know they've lived on and they're watching over me. That's what I believe. And one day, when I pass from this, I'll see them again. I know I will. Every single one of my cats, dogs, rabbits that I had throughout the years, and my uncle. But I don't necessarily believe it's going to be in a heaven or a hell, but another realm, an entire dimension altogether. I don't know how many of you believe in dimensions, but I believe there's plenty of dimensions. So let's say my uncle died, which he did die. I believe he's alive somewhere else. Alive like the way you and me are, but in another dimension. He just doesn't know it. And I believe in alternate dimensions. And I don't think that this is the only dimension there is. I believe there are many. And in some other dimension, there's another version of me, there's another version of you, another version of everybody you know. And we're doing different things in each dimension. And I've always believed in death being like this figure in black with a sickle, the Grim Reaper essentially. But death is much more than that, I've learned over the years. Death is silent. Death is something we can't really see, like the way I'm looking at you right now through the camera. Death is all around us, and the dead are here with us. They're watching us right now. There's probably people in this room right now. I just can't see them. Another one of my friends I used to hang out with in this apartment, she passed away on Christmas Day, and I spoke to her for the last time on Messenger. And I wake up a few hours later and find out she's dead. Pissed me off and got me really depressed seeing that, because I was pretty close with this girl and she was somebody I wanted to be with. And she was big on Ouija boards and witchcraft and things like that, and we discussed it. I used to be big on witchcraft once upon a time. I was interested in all the Wicca, but I lost interest after my friend passed away. I used to own Ouija boards too. Bad things happened to me when I used the Ouija board, but not like you see in the movie. Stuff didn't levitate. Nothing weird like that happened. It was more realistic. Me and this girl were messing around with my Ouija board, and she asked a bunch of questions. I didn't feel the planchette move or anything. She claimed she did, and we had sex afterwards. And as I was having sex, my penis turned inside out. The foreskin went over like a hood, and it was pulled all the way down, and my penis was exposed. It was like peeled like a banana peel, and it hurt like a son of a bitch. It was a pain like no other. I was crying like a bitch. I was begging God for forgiveness, and I'm not even a believer of God, really. I believe in a higher power, but I don't believe in a Christian God or like everybody else believes. I was begging and crying. It took about 15 hours for my penis to go back in normal direction, for the skin to stretch over, and I had told the hospital what happened. They looked at me like a crazy person. They gave me a shot. Turns out I have a disease called phimosis, because I'm uncircumcised, which I was reading about, and the way it retracted, that never happened to me before. I was hurt for a week afterwards, and ever since then I never messed with a Ouija board again. That was 2 years ago. I've heard other stories from other people who used Ouija boards that when they used it, like my mom used it and her friends used it, they said the table picked itself up off the ground and shattered into a million pieces in front of them. Like I said, I didn't see anything like that, supernaturally speaking, in that sense. But what happened to me was real. That penis was turned with the foreskin upwards, and that's never happened to me before in almost 40 years of my life. Never felt that kind of pain in my life. I thought the girl had done something to me because when I had sex with her, it felt like there was something in her vagina grabbing me. I don't know if she had a device put in for birth control, an IUD or whatever, but it felt like there was something else in there. It was weird. I never felt like that before. Yeah, ever since then, I stopped playing with Ouija boards. I never was a big believer in them either. I always liked the movies, Witch Board, and then Ouija Board, Origins. I liked all those movies, and I still like those movies. I mean, I've always had a thing for the supernatural,